Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday morning. This is Carolyn House Carson with 9 days of deep healing and energy shifting. Today we are on day 8, and the theme for today is restoring your biggest, greatest, most expansive capacity to give and receive love. And for those of you that don't know me, that are new to me, my name is Carolyn House Carson. I am one of the leading experts in the world on family constellations, and my unique brilliance is that I shift energy, and I teach people how to shift their energy and energies. And I'm also the creatrix of the Pleasure IQ, which is my proprietary signature system, which is designed and through which I guide my clients into a paradigm of paradise. Good morning, Annette. And the paradigm of paradise really is a state of being. And it's basically just a reflection of you being completely in alignment, because when you are, things flow. Money, love, opportunities, ideas, your physical energy and health, everything is in flow when you are in alignment. And the reason why we don't feel good oftentimes is because we're not in alignment. And what constellations do, oops, why is this so bright? Sorry, that's interesting. There's some kind of a filter that I put on. Sorry, that was interesting for a moment. Okay. The reason why we're not in alignment is usually because we're blocked somewhere in allowing ourselves to really know what it is that we want and just say yes to the things that we want. Good morning, Deb. And then the second reason why we're not in alignment is usually because we're in conflict with different parts of ourselves. So the past 10 days, we've been working on both of those things. We've been working on getting ourselves into a more harmonious, energetic state through connecting to our soul, healing our heart, connecting to spirit, integrating the feminine and the masculine. Yesterday we stepped into connecting or healing the connection to money, which was super interesting. If you didn't watch yesterday's, make sure to go and watch it. All of the lives can actually be found in the event page, so you just find the event on my profile, my personal profile, and then go to the event page and you can find all the replays and the details there. And then today we're going to focus on love and flow, because when you're flowing, you're flowing. You know, it doesn't matter which area. And then tomorrow is our last day. Tomorrow is dedicated to healing the connection to our divine selves. Right? Our divine self is really the most high vibrational part of ourselves, and so the more we can live in an embodiment, in alignment with that part of ourselves, the more ease and joy and fulfillment we are going to experience. And so while you're living into inhabiting your paradigm of paradise, you also automatically and organically step into living your full potential, which, you know, to me, that is the most pleasure-filled and most good feeling state to be in, when you're feeling like, and when you're knowing that you're doing exactly what you're meant to do, when life just feels right. And there is peace because of that, and no more conflict. And so before we dive into the work together today, I also just want to say that I'm currently enrolling, or enrollment is open for my Pleasure IQ Mastermind. I'm very selective about who I take into that group. It's really meant for people that are here to help with the bringing in the new money that we saw yesterday, universal money in big quantities, but doing it in a way where they don't burn themselves out, and where they're in alignment. And this is especially for you if you're someone who, you know, your purpose is creating change in the current systems so that the generation to come can really benefit from your life's work. And as I am filling this mastermind, I do have a little bit of time, so I'm also offering a few one-on-one single sessions, which I don't often do. So if you're not in a place where you're building a business, or you're not quite in a place of the person that I described for the mastermind, but you would like to have a few constellation sessions with me, do reach out and I can share more about that with you. So with that being said, good to have you all here this morning. We're going to do the prayer now. and then we're gonna dive into doing the work together today. So I'm inviting you to close your eyes, taking a deep breath in, letting your belly soften and exhaling, letting go of anything and everything that came before our time together, this morning, yesterday, the day before, the weeks before, the months before, the years before, your entire past, just letting it all go, pulling your energy from the past to the now moment. And then inhaling again, letting your belly soften, and exhaling, letting go of anything that's pulling, any attachment to anything in the future, so anything that needs to get done, your to-do list, all the work, all the people. Just letting today, tomorrow, rest of this week, rest of the month, rest of the year, yes, your entire future, just letting all of that go for a moment. And then taking one more deep breath in, letting your belly soften and exhaling, arriving in this present moment. And in this present moment, I'm speaking a prayer. I'm setting the intention for deep transformation and healing. I'm affirming our ability to open ourselves to receive all the good that comes with us fully stepping into our purpose, with us fully aligning with our purpose, with us fully allowing ourselves to be here now and really enjoy life and allow ourselves to live in our paradigm of paradise, whatever that means to us or to you. And so I'm grateful that we can know that this is possible for us and that we have the tools and everything that we need to do the work together today. And so I just let this intention and prayer be, knowing that it is carried out in joy and peace by simply saying, and so it is, amen. And just as a side note, if you're watching this as the recording, just know that you're included, that if you're taking yourself through this in the replay, it's just as powerful. Energy does not know time and space. It's always happening in the moment. So with that, good morning everybody, so great to have you. I work with these pieces. You can go and get something similar if you have magazines or pieces of paper, washcloths, kitchen towels, anything works that you can step on. Flat books, coffee table books. And so today, we're going to choose, I'm doing a collective one. So you can just sit and receive the collective one, or you can do one for yourself, and I will facilitate you through your process as well as I'm doing this. I'm doing two things at once, basically. So today and today also, get morning Karina, start with the self, and the self wants to be white again for today. So pick one, if you're doing your own constellation, pick one for the self, and one for your biggest capacity to give and receive love. I need to get a red sparkle. I really want a red sparkle. I don't have red sparkle. I'll just take red again. And then for another one, a third one, for anything that's in the way of the self and the biggest capacity to give and receive love. And I'll take the green, in my case, for anything that's in the way. There might not be, but we'll just see. And then what you get to do is, once you have your three pieces, you get to place them on the floor. I use the space behind me. I'm gonna get up now. Excuse me. I worked out really hard yesterday because I'm preparing for my first solo performance piece on November 1st in Santa Barbara. If any of you are in Santa Barbara, come. I'll post about it on Facebook. But I found this breakdance workout. Oh my god, I can barely move. Sorry guys. It was so hard and so tough. So anyways, I put the self on the floor, and now I just have to put the greatest capacity to give and receive love. And the obstacle is actually not in between. It's kind of in the background, so we'll see what that means. And I always start by stepping onto the self. So if you're doing your own constellation, start by stepping onto yourself, onto the piece for yourself. And so right now I'm torn between the capacity, the biggest capacity to give and receive love, and the obstacle. So the obstacle is to my left here on the floor, and the biggest capacity is to the right. And I'm kind of torn between the two. I'm not looking at either. I'm kind of actually in between. My tendency is to swing a little bit more toward the obstacle right now. So there's some fear around connecting with my biggest capacity to give and receive love. I feel like a little bit of apprehension when I look at the red. So for yourself, if you're doing this for yourself, just step onto yourself, feel how you feel, see how you feel in relationship to the other two pieces. Feel if there's anything needs to be said. Feel if you need to step on another one of those two pieces, if anything else needs to come in, or if the pieces have to move or want to move, or if one of them wants to move. So I'm actually facing the obstacle now. That's where my energy wants to go. So I feel like I need to face the obstacle first before I can face my biggest capacity to give and receive love. I'm going to step on to the obstacle now, actually. And this feels like a person. The screen feels like a person. A person that's holding my attention. So I'm just feeling into... So it feels like this is collectively past relationships. The people from the past relationships are holding our attention. And so I can feel how the message here is really that the people from the past relationships have nothing to do, and they don't determine your current ability to give and receive love. So again, if you're facilitating this for yourself, keep stepping on the different pieces and see where they need to move, and if they have messages for you. And I'm just stepping back onto the self. And I'm having difficulties staying connected to these past relationships and connecting to my biggest and greatest capacity to give and receive love. And the reason being is that I think, or I feel like if I had this, if I would have been connected to my biggest capacity to give and receive love, some of these relationships wouldn't have had to end. You know, they wouldn't have had to be past relationships. So I'm also wondering, like, if I connect to my biggest capacity to give and receive love, how will I feel about these past relationships? So it's all kind of like muddled right now. I am going to step onto the capacity to give and receive love now. And for you, you can just see if you want to step on a different piece, if you need to move your pieces, if there's messages that come through to you, if anything else needs to come in. And so let me just step onto this energy. So it's very interesting because when I'm on this field, biggest capacity to give and receive love, I literally, and I'm going to do this, I know this is going to be funny, and you can probably see this, but I feel like I'm a field, almost like the ocean that's just flowing. That's why I'm laying down, because I literally feel like I'm this field that's just flowing and very gently, and I have little waves inside of me, but very gently and calmly I'm pulsing. I feel like I'm this dark rose quartz, almost dark pink colored, almost like a silk that's floating in the wind, like a field, something, you know, like a flat body. I'm not really aware of what's going on over there. It doesn't make, you know, I'm hearing what is going on over there with the over there with, whoops, sorry, if I'm rotating, my phone starts rotating. Sorry, started rotating my phone. It didn't work. Anyways, over there with the self and these past relationships, and they don't really seem relevant. It's almost like I'm a pool and anybody could just dive into me. I feel very sweet. I also feel like I'm liquid candy, liquid pink candy. There's not a lot of thought, actually. It's just very peaceful, and if you're connecting energetically, you can kind of feel what this energy feels like. It's very calm, very sweet. Not very worried about anything. Actually, I'm not worried about anything. It's a very peaceful feeling. And I'm just here. I really don't have much to say. I'm just doing my floating and being here. So let me get back up. Oh, my stomach muscles. Oh. Okay, let me step back onto the self. Well, that's much more appealing than the past relationships, to be honest. So I'm turning. And again, if you're doing your own constellation, see if you want to step onto another piece, see if they need to move, see if something needs to be said, and so forth. And so what I'm going to do is actually I am picking up the green, my past relationships, and I'm just going to take them with me. Kind of like memories, you know, or things that are part of me. I'm taking them with me. I put them kind of in my hand and on my belly. And the field, the biggest capacity to give and receive love field, feels very attractive and enticing. So I'm just allowing myself to be pulled towards it. I'm not ready to dive into it, but I'm ready to take my past relationships and myself up to the almost like the brim of the pool, the rim of the pool, and I'm sitting down, and I'm actually I'm putting my past relationships into the pool. Wow, I am feeling so much lighter. That's incredible. And I'm feeling very, very naked and almost a little guilty that I could feel this free and light, like very light. But as I'm looking at the field of my biggest capacity to give and receive love, I'm seeing both now. I'm still seeing the past relationships, and I'm seeing the capacity. So I'm just waiting. And what's happening is actually the red is shifting on top of the green. And it's almost like they're merging together. So now part of the resistance is I don't want to go in there because I don't want to be mixed in with these past relationships. So I have conflict again. So I'm just going to step back onto the field of the biggest capacity to give and receive love. And for you, keep stepping onto your different pieces. Keep seeing if there's messages or movements that they need to make. And then let me just be the field again. So it's interesting because I don't feel any different, even though these past relationships have been placed into me. Nothing changes me. I am the way I am, and nothing changes me, which is great because I basically can envelop, hold, I can be with everything. And I literally have no judgment. So I'm looking at the self, and I just want to say to the self, why don't you just give it a try? Why don't you just put your foot in, or, why don't you just give it a try? So I'm very encouraging to the self. Let's see what the self wants to do and how it feels. I also have to check the time today because I do have an interview at 10:30 my time, which is 9 minutes, so we're good to go still. So with this invitation from this field, I actually feel okay, and I'm just taking myself and I'm sitting myself into the pink, candy-like, pink, rose-colored, kind of like puddle-like field. Right now I'm sitting on top of the field, but I haven't quite allowed myself to fully feel into it. So the self actually wants to lay down too, just the way this capacity was laying down. It's almost like I'm going into a flotation tank, and at first it's a little, scary and unnerving, but then, finally when you're in there for a little while, then you start allowing yourself to really enjoy it and relax into it. So for me right now, the shifts, or for me, collectively, for all of us, the shifts that are happening are the realization that we just really have to relax into this. There's nothing to do. It's not actually, the capacity is not, we are not the capacity. The capacity is always there, and all we need to do is just relax into it. And so when I do that, I start to feel really good and really calm, actually. And so if you're doing your own constellation, just see if your pieces want to move. If you need to step on a different piece, you can also send me a comment, and I'll comment later, give you my feedback. So there's just very deep peace right now here when I'm here relaxed and allowing myself to just relax into this field. And so the beautiful thing about constellations is that you don't have to remember to do anything, right? This is shifted in your field forever now. So the obstacle really was just kind of confusion around past relationships and ourselves and our capacity, when the truth is that this capacity to give and receive love at the biggest level is always there, and it's just up for us to relax into it. And our nervous system has done that now. My nervous system has done it, so it means that collectively it has done it. What I'm experiencing is just an outpicturing of the shift of the energies. That's the beautiful thing about the constellations. I'm not actually doing anything. I'm just basically reporting, or making through laying on the floor right now and being in the way I am being. I'm just basically making the outpicturing of the energy that's not visible to the eyes visible. And so you can see, as you look at me, that there's a lot of peace and you know, the shift has happened. When I was standing over there, I looked very differently and I felt very differently. And if you've been connecting to this field as well, I'm sure you're feeling very differently. And if that's so, just give me a like a thumbs up or some kind of a emoji comment or a yes, so I know that this is resonating. This would be, I could stay here all day. It's very nice. So I'm going to finish the Facebook Live in this position for today. As I said in the beginning, the enrollment for my Pleasure IQ Mastermind is open. I'm very selective about who I'm taking on. It's a 9-month journey, and it's really meant for you if you're already making money and you're still struggling. Because as we found out yesterday, thanks Karina and thanks Deb. As we found out yesterday, this group of people is really meant to usher in this new universal money in great quantities, so millions. And you know, not that necessarily happens in 9 months, but the foundations and your way of being can be set during 9 months. It's a time, you know, it's a time of gestation and birth, 9 months. And I was also saying that if that's not where you are and you do want some of my help, I do have some time right now to do, you know, single session constellations. So reach out to me if that's what you're interested in. If you're interested in hearing more of about the mastermind, reach out to me as well. And so with that, I'm gonna wish you a blessed day from the floor here. If you're laying on the floor and enjoying this, just keep there. I have to start getting up because I'm doing an interview now on a radio show, so I have to mosey on with my day. But it's been my pleasure spending this time with you. All my love to you, and see you tomorrow for our last day in this series, where we're going to connect to our divine self. And it's not too late to spread this event and tag people. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks for being here with me. Have a blessed day. All my love to you, and bye-bye.